How are you, sir?
How's it going? How are you?
Very well, very well. Don't be so serious. Smile at me. Smile at me first.
How you doing?
You look so serious. It's not serious. It's not serious. It's just a
Little
bit about
camera,
you.
little nerves for the
So I'm
camera.
Nigel.
I'm Brian. How's it going?
I'm very well. Where are you in the world? Obviously, you're in some part of America. So tell me a bit about you, Brian.
Yeah, I'm in Florida. I'm in Jensen Beach, Florida, which is near West Palm Beach area, and
Nice.
I own a small fire alarm company, home security, and CCTV
Yeah.
company over here. I'm originally from New
Nice.
Jersey, but been in Florida for like 20 years, so been just
Oh,
keeping busy.
keeping busy. How old are you now then? If you
I'm
don't mind me asking.
48 years old, actually. I'm gonna be
48.
I'm gonna be 49 in about a month.
Okay, so we're pretty much the same age.
Okay.
We are pretty much the same age. So there we go. So tell me a bit about you, because obviously you're a member of the real world. Okay, so you obviously own your company now. Was that built from the real world, or did you have that before?
I started it before the real world. I actually started my
Mhm.
company about 5 years ago. I started it after a divorce. Basically, I caught a divorce at like 43 years old. I lost
Oh,
everything and I had to start over from a mattress on the floor. I lost my home, um, children, everything
wow.
basically, every damn thing I lost. So I took what peanuts I got for the house and I got a truck and got an LLC and just hit the road, I already had the skills, I
Mm,
had management experience prior.
yeah,
So it was just, time to do it because, I've been playing it safe for the most part. And then I
yeah,
realized that, I was trying to live on 50 bucks a week after that, and it couldn't happen.
yeah. You couldn't sustain that. I mean, that must have been pretty much hard on you. I mean, I'm not married. I haven't got any children, but that must have been pretty hard. Like
Yeah, it was the
going
hardest thing
through
I've
that.
ever
As a,
dealt with in my life. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing
I can
harder than
imagine.
losing everything when you're 45 and thinking that, you're gonna be able to, start hitting the retirement,
Yeah,
threshold,
yeah,
but then you just have
yeah,
the rug pulled out from under you. Yeah, that's basically what happened, and, that's when I said I gotta make something happen or nothing's
yeah.
gonna happen for me, you know?
Correct. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that kind of gave you. I mean, it sounds really bad, but it kind of gave you a little bit of that motivation to actually then just push through and just say, right, boom, switch. It's like a light bulb switched on and said, I've just got to go.
Yeah, it was the push I needed, obviously. I
Yeah.
didn't know it at the time, but it was all a blessing.
Okay. So then, how did you get into from that? Then, how did you get into the real world, and like what drew you towards the real world?
Okay, so what happened is I was struggling with the business. I was actually doing quite well. I was growing, and I was
Yeah.
looking. I had just hired some people on, and I was moving into a warehouse out of my house, and I was trying to take the next step as far as growth is concerned. And I had just secured my contractor's license. I had been contracting, through other means, through other companies and things like that. But I finally got my own license, and then
Mm,
I had just made all these moves. I just signed a lease on a warehouse that I was now locked into, and I was moving full
yeah.
speed ahead. And it would have worked, but I got robbed. All right, to the tune of about altogether almost $40,000. And this is when I couldn't lose $40,000. So next
So
thing you
this was
know,
after.
so
So
yeah,
sorry to interrupt. Sorry to interrupt. So this was after everything had happened previous,
yeah.
like with
After
the
yeah,
with the wife and everything,
I'm now picking up
and then
steam. I'm
something else
making
happened.
moves. Yeah, I was picking up steam. I was making moves. Things were looking on a up and up. And yeah, I had a contractor rob me about $40,000. Through bad negotiations, I guess on my part. You know how that works. But then it all came down on
Yeah.
me right at that time, and he even pulled a gun on me. Um,
Oh
when I tried to
gosh.
show up, I showed up at his house to collect. He pulled a gun on me, and nothing really happened. It's Florida, and not yada 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 yada. Nothing happened. All right, now I'm out
Yeah.
40K. I lost. Not only did I lose that revenue, but I lost my entire backlog. I had no jobs on the books, and I got a warehouse, and like things were
You
going
got paid
bad.
for,
It was bad, man.
bro. Bro. God. Do you know what? Number one, I'm gonna say this right now. I admire you for your perseverance, like going through, because like it takes a lot. It takes a lot to actually go through all of those hassles, all of those stresses and strains, and keep pushing. I mean, it's the only thing you can do anyway.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
I
mean?
mean,
Sometimes you can't necessarily.
that was it. Like I was
Sometimes,
forced to. I was facing homelessness every
yeah, yeah, yeah.
month, every
Yeah.
week, and I was on child support too. I'm on child support, getting creamed after losing everything. It was a nasty
Yeah.
divorce. I basically for a period of time didn't see both my daughters for 2.5 years. So I was dealing with that
Mm.
at the same time. Um, and yeah, it was a horrible time. And I almost didn't get through it.
Yeah, yeah, but you're like the strength that you've got now. So seriously, it's admirable. It's super admirable. There's loads of people out there that generally wouldn't have that strength to actually go through. So
Yeah,
like, I salute you, bro.
you figure out what you
Yeah, you've got to figure out. You've got to figure out actually, and you've got to keep it moving. And like for you to have the perseverance and the strength to actually move on, that's super admirable. It's super admirable. And then after that, something else happened, and you're still going. Do you know what I mean? It's nah, seriously, it's
Yeah,
it's
it was
it's
a
super good. I mean,
snowball. And I also, I could go on and on with the crazy stuff that was happening. I was also in a house that had
yeah, yeah,
mold, and I had to get out of a house with black mold during this whole ordeal
yeah,
and leave
yeah,
last minute. Like, I mean, when you're broke, dead broke, life gets real interesting real quick.
bro. I trust me. I know the feeling. I know the feeling when you're searching around for your next penny, when you're going into your penny jars because you just been putting in pennies and you just taking them out. We had this little thing where you could go down to the Tesco's and you could pour all your pennies into the jar and just get the little £20 that you've been saving or 30 quid that you've been saving just to eat. Do
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I kind of know those. I kind of know those things, bro. I tell you that I know
yeah.
those.
I mean,
That's all. So you joined the real world.
all right. So
So you
basically,
joined the real world.
yeah, so basically that happened was like, I guess I'm gonna talk. You guys can't talk about the light without the dark. I
Yep.
became completely suicidal at one point, especially during with the kids and things, and I literally didn't think I had a snowball's chance in hell at it. And I actually, yeah, I spiraled. I was drinking a lot just to deal with things, and that was creating more problems. I mean, I was in a bad spot, and like I was
Mm.
seriously considering like suicide. I like yeah, my credit was destroyed. I couldn't get loans for the business. Um, like it was just it was so bad. So I was suicidal, and then like it's probably the same deal, but like I started seeing tape videos on Facebook about the same time, and I started hearing other people talk about it. So I researched, and I saw some other testimonials, and I said, you know what? I'm going to try this out because like I didn't think I was going to pull my business out the gutter. I had some experience with sales and a lot of experience with operations, but I didn't know
Hmm.
marketing. I mean, I there I was like I was on a rudderless boat, you know, just spiraling out of control.
Mm.
And I said, you know what, this is it. I'm gonna try this out. If this don't work, we're out of here. And now we're here. So
No, yeah. So
yeah.
we kind of pulled you out a little bit, which I'm super happy to hear about. Do you know what I mean? It's always inspirational to hear, like, obviously the younger generation, they're actually making money, but then obviously you've got a story to you as well, which is truly admirable as well, to actually see that we can help people in so many different
Oh
ways,
yeah.
like to actually pull people out of a very, very bad situation into some form of like light. So how are you getting on? How did the real world help you, and how are you getting on now?
So basically, there's two ways it helped me. Okay, aside from the business stuff, I was able to pound all these. I joined the best campus. Business
Yep.
campus. All right,
Business campus.
I
Yep.
just started pounding these. I just started pounding Arno lessons into my head, like boom, one after another. And mind you, like I work in the field, and I was, doing all the jobs. I didn't have any employees. I got, I'm doing these lessons with a Bluetooth in my ear on a rooftop of buildings. You know what I mean? I'm all
Mm,
over it. So aside from giving me the business, filling in the business gaps that I had that I wasn't able to,
mhm,
I didn't have the resources or the money to get done. Aside from that, that whole thing helped out. But aside from that, it just, pulling all that matrix programming out of your head, that was
mm.
probably the
Yeah.
second level of it. And
Yeah.
I was able to get through all that with the real world. And I could pretty much tell you that by myself, there was no way that that was gonna happen. There was no way that I could have made that happen without TRW, for sure.
Oh God. Do you know what? He does, like seriously, it's warming. It's super warming. It's super warming to hear that. So then how have you now scaled your business from where it was? Because obviously you you'd been robbed. Um, you know, you had a big warehouse that you had to pay for. You're living like literally hand to mouth is
Yeah,
what they call it, like hand to
basically.
mouth. You're taking money and you're feeding into, yeah. So then, how did you scale that up to where you are now, and how are you going? How are you going right now? How's everything now?
So, yeah, so basically I hit it hard. I worked straight through 2024 without a day off. And by the time
Nice.
earlier this year it started to flip around where right now I'm at about three a little probably hitting 300K in total revenue for the year, beginning of May. And I sold almost 200K in jobs. So I have about 200K in front of me on the books that I have to get going. Um, what
Yeah.
else? I was able to. My girlfriend, she was able to quit her job, and now she's my office manager full time. Um,
Nice.
I also got I hired on another technician full time to do a lot of the service
Mhm.
calls. So, and then I also was able to get a helper for myself. So you know, I'm able to get more going, with with
Going.
I'm able to,
Did,
take it to a next level. So, picture like
did
a
you
little
did
over
you
a year
seek
ago.
any? That's brilliant. Did you seek any advice from anybody in the real world on how to scale up? Because there's um like Luke, for example, that you can just ask a question if there's any questions in there that you can ask, or was it just okay, cool, I can go on that course. Oh, this is the business, this is the gap that I'm missing in my business, or did you actually ask the questions that you needed to know
Yeah,
to actually scale yourself up?
Yeah, answer that. I haven't really had to have many one-on-one sessions with anybody.
Yeah.
I've joined in, I've asked a few questions on the lives, but to tell you the
Mm,
truth, for the most part, all the questions I had were mostly answered just watching these lessons. So but
perfect.
I had all these questions coming in, but I
Mm,
wound up not even having to ask many,
mm.
like,
Not any.
kind of know right now the next step to get to where I need to be. So, I mean,
Nice.
yeah, it's different from like every day not knowing whether I'm going to shut the shop down or what, or go
Yeah,
home,
yeah, yeah.
go live in
You
the
know,
basement. I don't know.
now you've got plans to do this and plans to do that, and you know where to go, directions on which to go into now. You kind of understand it a little bit
Yeah, definitely. I have
more.
I have
Yeah.
like my business. I don't feel like it's running me into the ground anymore. Like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
running.
you're in,
I'm
yeah, yeah,
running
you're in control again.
something.
You're taking that grasp and you're control again. So did the marketing side of things help you a lot in the real world? Did you just go on that campus, look at the marketing, and then just say, okay, cool, that is what I need to do?
Yeah, basically, oh, just reading, listening to the lessons, get filled in all these gaps and answered a lot of these questions. So I would say, all right.
Mm.
And it also, I'm also when I'm in the middle of these lessons learning what everything I did wrong too. So
Yeah, no, but
so it's like,
that's a
oh,
good thing. That's a good thing. Yeah, yeah,
but yeah, that's where I messed up there. It's kind of like that.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
so it filled up all that gaps. But yeah, like what you're saying, like I catch Luke lessons every day. I don't miss a Luke lesson
yeah.
because he's got,
Mm.
you know, I mean, more not for more to business, but he's got good insight to like life. I think so. I try not to
Yeah,
miss
yeah,
Luke
yeah.
lessons ever really.
Yeah, yeah. I think I think it's very very valuable to kind of, I mean, for you again, it's understanding where you went wrong, and you obviously you saw where you could like change that trajectory is the word I'm looking for, and then obviously elevate yourself. It's touching. It's super warming, and it's I'm super happy to actually speak to
Yeah,
you because to have someone that has gone through something and to have the inspiration that, you know, we talk about all of the kind of younger, like I said before, the younger generation that have come up and they're making money, this, that, blah, blah, blah. But it's different when you actually speak to someone that's actually been through kind of trials and tribulations, and then they've just found this kind of platform, and then they've just elevated from this platform. And this platform has actually helped them to not necessarily elevate their business, but overcome certain issues within themselves. Do you know what I mean? And
oh yeah,
that super makes me that super makes me proud. It
yeah.
super makes me proud. What was you going to say? Sorry.
That's like I said, that's half of it. Like I was starting to drink every day. Like it was starting to get bad,
Yeah,
like it was going bad. And like I said, you get that matrix programming out of your head and things start to
yeah,
flip,
yeah, 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 yeah. You're
and
a different person.
it's just turns into a different ball game at that point. Sure.
Okay, cool, good stuff. So tell me, Brian, what does the next 6 months look like for you,
The
elevation
next
wise? Because
the
obviously you've
next
got
thing
200K. You said in. So
yeah,
go on.
yeah. So the next 6 months, I gotta, I'm getting maybe get a little more help. I gotta figure out how I gotta, operationally fulfill my contracts. So I have some jobs going on throughout the state that I have to manage, but that gives me an opportunity, and I'm hoping to get out. My main thing is to get out of the field 100%, or not.
Mm,
Maybe 90% because I'm trying to sell more. Um,
mm,
I still have problems with funding. Like I said, I had my credit destroyed, my personal credit. So that's been
mhm.
holding back the business. Like I've applied to like fundraiser, and um right now I'm not in a great spot to get, bank funding or anything like that. It would have to be,
Yeah,
private funding, you know, things like that. So I'm working on trying to get funding to fund big construction jobs because, I have good
yeah,
customers that I can do a lot of jobs, but when it comes to the big jobs, like I can't really play in that ballpark right now because I'll get myself in trouble quick. So I'm looking to
okay, cool.
get
Is it because you can't play in there because you don't have the resources, or is it can't play in there because you don't know how to actually attack that kind of sector?
my my credit got destroyed. So like
Oh, right. Okay, cool.
if I'm trying to, do a job that requires $100,000 in parts, like if I need to do a
Right, got
pool
you.
requires 100K in parts, I'm out that game because I can't fund that.
Yeah.
Generally labor contracts, I have some national contracts, labor contracts, things like that I've been riding on. So I've been able to get
Mm,
by, and I get some local sales. So I'm trying to boost my local sales and get my
mm.
the smaller jobs too, because
Two, yeah,
those
yeah.
are good to
They're
get
your bread and butter.
recurring.
Yeah, yeah. They're your bread and butter. So is there not a way, I mean, you can go into the real world and probably ask these questions. These are the questions that you should ask to Luke. Because I'm sure he'll have some form of kind of course that he can say, or some form of like lesson that he can I say to them, so is there not kind of like my first instinct to that would be, okay, cool. If you want to get this kind of bigger contract, you would say, okay, cool. I've got this bigger contract, but let's get all of um, the parts or whatever you need done. That's your initial deposit. So you're just doing that. So you're working off a labor kind of background. And then
Yeah.
once everything's done, you can do it in stages and then just build from there. Is that not possible?
Well,
I'm not sure how that kind of
it
works.
depends on the construction, on the general contractors, because a lot of times they're the ones in charge of the contracts and they're the ones pulling the strings. I
Yeah.
generally have to fulfill these contracts. And
Yeah.
basically, the situation I'm in right now, which isn't exactly the end of the world because I can function and move on, is that until my
Mm.
personal credit is cleaned up, I need
Yeah.
private funding, which could only really come through, getting in the right circles. And
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm at now. So until I can get in the right
Okay.
circles and find somebody who believes in the company and is willing to, maybe factor invoices or something like that.
Yeah.
Until then, it's going to be on me to clean up my credit, which is not going to be easy because I had
Yeah.
a daughter with medical bills. I had a
Yeah.
nasty
Yeah.
divorce, and I was actually getting my credit was getting better, but then after I got robbed, like, it was just
It just went
demolished.
down again. Yeah. Yeah.
There's all kinds of things that I
I
haven't paid.
I generally believe in you, Brian, and I believe that you can do it. And I believe that there should be a lesson, or you should speak to Luke, and he should potentially do a lesson with regards to how I would generate. I mean, it could be the brand, but excuse me, it could be just the bread and butter stuff. It could be stuff that you might be missing out on. Like how you went onto the business course or you went onto the marketing course. Oh, that's what I did wrong, or that's what I did wrong. Then maybe there's something that you're kind of like missing to actually just elevate yourself through. And I believe that if like you pose that question to Luke in the real world,
Mhm.
I believe that question will be answered, and you can then take that forward. Because I generally believe in you, Brian.
Well,
I believe in 6 months' time when I'm talking to you, you're gonna achieve all the things that you've like set out to do in your head. Credit's gonna be fine, or credit's gonna be stable. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? And things are gonna start elevating forward. So just keep that positive mindset. Keep that positive mindset. And
definitely. Well,
like
I
any questions that you
I just came off of child support last week, so that's a plus.
There you go. So then that's a little bit of money that can come back to you. See, there you go. So it's working. It's working. It's working. So as I said, I generally believe in you. I believe like all of the stuff that you've gone through previously. I think that's going to make you just a stronger person, a stronger minded person. And I believe that if you have any questions like that on how to do things, these questions are there to be asked in the real world, and they're there to be answered as well. So take every single opportunity that you can do to ask these questions. How do I do this? How do I do that? If you're thinking about how do I do this? How do I do it? How do I get small projects? You can just there's going to be an answer.
Yeah, I'll
There's
go
going to
right
be an answer.
to
I'm not too
Ask
sure.
Luke. We'll go right to that tab.
Yeah,
Ask Luke right
just
now.
just that's what I mean. Just throw it out there. And if
It's all safe.
there's that's what I'm saying. There's other professors out there that may be in the construction business. I think Justin Waller's in the construction business as well. So there are people out there that are in that construction business, and they started from the ground up like yourself. I
Yeah.
think they had. I'm not too sure what their history was, but I believe that obviously starting from the ground up, having a little bit of knockbacks, and then getting back up and then building even higher. So there is a way that you can do it,
Oh yeah.
and do you know what I mean? You just need to all of those questions that are in your head. How do I do it? How do I do it? How do I do it? I'm not too sure how to do it. How do I do this? How do I do that? Just ask those questions, and I'm sure those questions will be answered for you. Just to finish off, because I don't want to take too much of your time off. This has been super interesting conversation. Um, what would you say to someone if they wanted to? How would you direct someone to the real world? What would you say to them? How would you say to them how it's helped you?
I would tell them, number one, it's not a scam, because you know how they want to play it off like it's a scam.
Yep.
They're the scam. All right. Real world's not a scam. Real world saved
Like that.
my life, basically. The real world and the Tate brothers, and Arno, Luke, and everybody saved my
Mm,
ass, and that is a fact. You know what I mean? And I will say that all day, every day, because it's the truth.
mm,
And you know what? If I could just, that's kind of why I'm here telling my story with you, because there's something to benefit for everybody. And if I was
yeah,
like, I don't have sons. I only have daughters. But if I had sons, like I would be they would be in the real world. Like they'd be forced
yeah,
to. That would be
$100%.
they really
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah,
have a choice.
yeah.
And
Good stuff.
that's
Good.
what I'm sticking to.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you very much, Ryan. Bro, listen, I'm gonna let you disappear, but seriously, keep your head up, keep it moving. I'm gonna speak to. Listen, I'm gonna speak to you in 6 months' time, and then you're gonna achieve everything that you want to achieve. Listen, I know
Yeah.
the strength that I've got in you. That I'm giving you a little bit more of mine. Okay,
Uh,
so I
at
truly
least
believe in you, and I truly.
no,
Sorry,
at least now you're invested in it now too.
for 100%. So you've got to do it. You've got no choice. You've got no choice in the matter.
I'm
Okay,
gonna get there,
so just
just
keep doing what you're
when.
doing.
Yeah, I'm gonna get there. It's just a matter of time and how quick
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
can pull it off. So I'm not worried about it anymore.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. As I say, there, if you need any questions answered, just throw them out there throw them out there in the TRW, and I'm sure they'll get answered
Yeah,
for you. And Brian, seriously, keep up that good work. Keep that strength. Keep that head held high. Keep pushing forward because I know you're gonna get
oh
there.
yeah,
Okay, and I
yeah.
believe that you're gonna get there. Okay.
Absolutely. And I thank all you guys. I thank you and everybody else who makes this happen every day. You're saving the world, I think. You're helping people like me. You're helping young kids. Um, keep it up, keep growing. And I hope one day
That's what we
to
do.
see the real world become, eventually what it's gonna become. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, mega colossal. That's what we're hoping. But like I say, if we can help people like yourself as well as helping the younger generation, we help people like yourself. Do you know what I mean? That for me, that's what touches me. That kind of inspiration, that's what kind of touches me. And to hear your story, like it's super like it's super touching. And to see you there smiling,
yeah.
smile. There you go. Yeah, moving forward and to keep going, pushing and keep pushing through all the adversities and everything else. Just keep pushing, just keep doing what you're doing. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Brian, for
Oh,
having a conversation. And yeah, 6 months' time, Brian, we're talking.
all right. Well, I'll be here.
All right.
I'll be in. I'm not getting
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. And you're gonna have that big smile on your face again, and
sure.
you're gonna tell me a different story.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay?
Yep. I
Good stuff.
appreciate you.
Cool. No problem. Appreciate you too, Brian.
All
Thanks
right,
very much,
man.
sir.
Have a good one.
Cool, cool. You take care.
Bye.
And you, sir.